Hello world, it's Kurtis Potter with Boundless Inspiration. Man, I look at this, I just completed it. I had a version of it, but pictures kept falling off the walls randomly. The devil is a lie, and I just finished it. I added some stuff to it, and man, I love it. Every single time I come in my bedroom now, my wife and I, it's just going to bring joy to our hearts. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that it's deep. It's been deep inside me and has been probably one of the biggest struggles in my life to fix. It's not completely gone. I can't lie. I'm not perfect in it. And being one of the biggest struggles I've ever had, it's been extremely hard, and it takes consistency and persistency and fighting every single day to get healing through it. And actually, this has been one of the really biggest things that's helped me get through it. So my topic today is fighting for the right things. And see, that's what I have struggled probably the most in my life, was always fighting for the wrong things. I was thinking about all the things that I fought for in my life that was stupid. It was just the wrong things to fight for. I remember when I was a kid, I would get in a fight with my sister. And I remember one time we were these siblings where my sister was like, "Mom, he's looking at me." And I remember like even looking at my mom one time, and she's just like probably thinking, what did I do wrong to raise these kids like this? Like, how are you gonna yell at your brother for looking at you? I mean, how stupid, right? I remember one time, like, I was antagonizing my sister, and she's like, "Mom, he's touching me." And I probably had my finger like this close to her forehead. I'm like, "No, I'm not, Mom. I am not touching her." It was just stupid. Like, immaturity is all I could say. But then I started to realize in life how many people are fighting for the wrong things. I remember I was at a Blockbuster. I know for the younger people watching this video, and later on when this video gets viewed years and years and years from now, people are like, "What is Blockbuster?" But it was a place where you could go and rent movies, and it was like the best thing to do after work on a Friday night. I remember being in a Blockbuster one time, right on the edge of the hood, obviously, because there was a guy in there who was yelling at the front desk kid. I mean, he had to have been 17, 18 years old, just a kid. And the guy was yelling at him because he would not remove the late fees that the guy had. And it was like, you're fighting him. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember if he threatened to get out his pistol or if he actually got out his pistol, but the cops were called. It was a bad scenario. And he was fighting him because he wouldn't even take ownership that he was the reason he had a late fee. And they have rules and standards. When you rent the movie, you know when you got to return it back or you're getting a late fee. And that guy was fighting a kid who was not responsible for his late fee. I mean, if anything, he could have called corporate and tried to complain to them. But he's fighting a kid that had nothing to do with his late fee. He's just doing his job. And it's like fighting for the wrong things. And even talking about Blockbuster, the reason why some of you that are watching this, you don't see them anymore and you don't even know what it is because they didn't even fight to keep their existence. Looking back, Redbox movies single-handedly put them out of business. And I remember as I'm going and renting my dollar movie, I remember multiple times thinking, Blockbuster missed a huge opportunity to fight to keep their existence. They already had all the DVDs they needed. They could buy DVDs at wholesale, probably way cheaper than Redbox. And yet all they had to do was create a blue box. See, that overhead just killed them and they couldn't compete. So they could have opened plenty of blue boxes. Their name was already established before red box, and they could have dominated. But instead they didn't. They fought for their pride. Like, you know what? We've been here. This is how we do things. We do it in a building where we employ a couple people, and we have this place where you go look for them. And they didn't fight to stay up with the trend, and now you don't see them. But see, if they would have fought for the right reasons, they probably would be on every smart TV, just like Roku, Hulu, and all of those, Paramount Pictures. We would be still today watching Blockbuster on our TVs. I know there's still one location out there, a Blockbuster. So if you're hearing this, go ahead and throw some love my way whenever you're like, oh, aha, oh my gosh, I was fighting for the wrong stupid things. Now let's build our empire again. Because see, sometimes you fight for the wrong things and it causes a lot of strife in your life. It may cause your failure. It may cause your demise. It may cause you to lose your marriage or your friendship or a job. Fighting for the wrong things, your pride, your ego, not saying sorry, not making up for what you've done. I just watched this movie, and it's called Fireproof, and I've watched it multiple times in my life. Someone actually gave it to me to watch, and in the movie, I highly suggest everybody that's watching this video to watch the movie Fireproof. It's a life changer. In the movie, this husband and wife, they're going through a divorce. The husband's a firefighter. He's an amazing man, saving lives, putting his life at risk, has a huge heart. The wife, she's a nurse, helping people, trying to heal people, huge heart. And they're fighting in their marriage. And they're like, man, at one time, man, we looked like this. Looking in each other's eyes, just deeply in love. And then it was just like one little fight. One small fight. And then another small fight, and another small fight. And it built up, it snowballed, it domino affected to where then they started venting to the wrong people. People that are divorced, and the woman was venting to all these ladies that had already been divorced. So they're mad at their divorce, and they're like, you know what? Just leave him. You can find somebody better. And then next thing you know, a doctor at the hospital starts flirting with her, and she starts entertaining it. And then she's like, you know what? I can upgrade from a firefighter to a doctor. And see, even in the movie, the doctor was hiding his wedding ring in his desk. And so he was going through the same thing, and he was fighting for another married woman, which they say in the Bible is one of the biggest sins out there. We all sin, not judging, just saying. That's something that popped up in my head. But see, the husband found out about this doctor and his wife and them entertaining this flirtatious relationship. And see, in that movie, he was wanting to give up. And his dad luckily stepped in and said, hey, son, I want to give you this book, The Love Dare. And just promise me before you walk out on your marriage, do this book, The Love Dare. 40 days. I'm asking you just for 40 days to fight as hard as you can for the right things. And so you know what? He went into that hospital and he confronted the doctor and he said, I know you're trying to get to my wife. I know you're flirting with my wife and you're trying to take my wife. Well, I got something to tell you. I'm a fighter. Man, I just got goosebumps. I'm a fighter. And see, the thing is, I've already got a step ahead of you. These kids. What are you fighting for? He said, I'm fighting for my wife that I love. And I've already got a head start. So bring it. And see, right after that, The doctor went into his office and he was like, man, he didn't say it out loud, but he instantly respected that firefighter for fighting for his marriage. He took his ring back out of his desk and he put his ring on that he hadn't been wearing in a long time. It's like, man, that ring. And he was like, man, I respect that guy for fighting. And I'm going to fight for my marriage as well. So I just ask you today, what have you been fighting that wasn't worth fighting? How many misunderstandings? I look back at some of the fights that my wife and I had, and I was like, at the end of it, I was like, man, that was so stupid. Both of us, and I'm sure plenty of you could testify, like, man, that fight was so dumb. Like, why did we even, what, because we were hangry? What, because we were tired and tangry, I guess? Excuse me for saying this, but I heard some female before said I was dangry, which she was wanting the D, and it made her angry, or pangry. You can, sorry. What are we fighting for? See, those misunderstandings I fought with my wife, I'm just like, man, it was so stupid. And I mean, we were fighting like bam, bam, both of us hitting our heads against each other. Not physically, but like, it was like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. I was right. No, you wasn't right. I was right. Tit for tat, tit for tat. And it was like, for what? And I even remember a fight or fights we've had, and looking back, it was like, we were saying the same dang thing, but it was just, she's a woman and I'm a man, and my version and how I talk. I've read this book. It's called The 5 Love Languages. And it talks about how, like, essentially, like, say women are speaking Spanish and men are speaking English. And you know how in a fight, or I mean in a conversation with somebody that speaks a different language, you can kind of point, grunt, be like, movements, and it's like you can kind of figure out what each other's saying and you can get through it. But the whole time, it would have been so much easier if you and them both knew how to speak English, or you and them both knew how to speak Spanish, or you both knew how to speak both speak English and Spanish. How easily, it would have been for you to communicate through that. Well, see, that's what was happening with my wife and I in those fights where we were both saying the same thing. We both wanted the same outcome, but we were just struggling to get that connection, meet in the middle and of understanding. How many fights have we been in because we didn't understand somebody's intentions, somebody's heart, somebody's feelings, somebody's emotions? I've been in so many fights via text because they couldn't see my body language. They couldn't see or hear my tone of my voice. So they received it the wrong way. And, I could have, I take full ownership. I could have done something to get communicated more clearly. But I remember looking back at different fights and just thinking, man, that's not even what I meant. That's not even what I was trying to say. So think about also, I thought about the road rage. One time I was driving a car. I was on a job site, I almost cut my finger off. Actually, my ring saved my finger, if you could see that scar. Cut it all the way down the bone. The skin's flared open. And, it was bad. The company I was working on in Lafayette, Indiana. And the journeyman called him and said, hey, Kurtis cut his finger. It's bad. You could see the bone. I couldn't even get my ring off. It was stuck on. They asked the owner, what do you want to do? Where do you want him to go? What hospital? And they said, well, we, when it comes to construction, if you have 2 job site injuries in a year where it goes to workman's comp, then they get kicked off of certain jobs like Eli Lilly, IU, just the airport, certain big jobs. They won't even accept companies that have 2 worksite injuries. And they said, we've already had 1, Kurtis. So can you go to our doctor We'll put it underneath the books. We'll pay for everything. We'll give you as much time as you need off, and we'll still pay you. Just that way we don't have to turn it into insurance, and we can stay on these big jobs. And I said, yeah, you know what? It's just a cut finger. I can fight through the pain. Where you want me to go? And they said, oh, we need you to come to Franklin, Indiana. That's a 2-hour drive. But I was like, sure, boss. You know what? My dedication to the company I'm working for, I'll fight for that company I'm working for. And I started driving right in between almost was my house. And the woman that I was currently living with, I'm almost halfway there. And I'm like, I call her and I say, look, I almost chopped off my finger. I'm driving to their hospital, and told her I was going from Lafayette to Franklin. I said, I feel like I'm going to faint. I literally feel like I'm about to pass out. Can you drive me the rest of the way? And she's like, yep, sure. Come to the house. I'll drive you the rest of the way. I mean, I'm getting off the highway, and I'm like, man, I'm getting lightheaded. Like, I'm almost about to wreck. So I'm coming down, and I'm to the point where I'm driving fast because I'm like, I got to get there. And I pass this person, and you know what? I take ownership. I pass him on a double yellow line because I was about to faint. I was about to wreck. This dude now flies up on me, honking his horn, giving me the bird, and follow me to my house. And at this time, I'm getting mad because he doesn't understand what's going on with me. So it went from like pain. Now my adrenaline's rushing, and I jump out of the car, and I was a metal worker at the time. I had a hammer, and my tool belt was right there. I grab my hammer out, and he pulls up because I live in a roundabout. He pulls up. I jump out, and I was like, what the is your problem? And he's like, you're driving like an idiot. And I was like, I almost cut my finger off. I'm on the way to the hospital. Dude, I'm about to pass out. That's what's going on. Dude, I passed you. Why are you fighting me? Just because I passed you. How many times have you passed someone and they take offense to it for some type of reason? And he still starts running his mouth. And I was like, you know what? Let's just handle this right now before I go to the hospital. Get out of your car, and I'm about to whoop your... And he said, yeah, I bet you will, because you got that hammer in your hand. I took that hammer and I threw it in the yard. And I said, you know what? I don't even have one in my hands. I don't have a hammer. Get out of that car, and I'm about to beat your with one hand. At this point, that dude was like, this dude's crazy. Peeled out, took off, and left. Never said sorry. Never said, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what he was going through. Nothing. And I got to the hospital. Everything was all right. But I was just thinking about that, like, I used to have road rage in my life where somebody cut me off and I'm beeping, flipping them off. One time I almost ripped this dude. I was trying to rip him out of his Dodge Charger because I just bought a car, just got it off the car lot, and he almost wrecked me. Almost wrecked me. He didn't wreck me. I didn't die. And I was willing to fight him. I mean, I'm trying to pull his door open at a stoplight. Get out of your car. Dude, he's shaking. He's scared. Like, dude, it was an accident. Man, I was cussing him, calling him every name in the book. And it was like, what was I fighting for? What are we fighting for? Are we fighting for the wrong things? Because, man, if you look on social media, there's so much fighting for the wrong things. Racism. What? We all bleed the same. Our blood is the same. I could take an organ out of a black man and put it in mine. And I guarantee you there's some black man, Hispanic man, yellow, green, purple, whatever, that would be willing to give me a kidney or a lung. There's great people out there. What are we fighting for? Politics? Who's right? Who's wrong? What side is right? What side's wrong? What are we fighting for? Man, I'll tell you, when I started fighting for God, because he's been the one that's always been there for me, fighting for me no matter what. He's always got my back. He'll never leave or forsake me. Man, I'll tell you, it was hard because I realized finally I was fighting for the wrong things. I had to actually get counseling. And it was hard. It was really hard for me to say, Kurtis, you've been fighting to keep that anger, but why? Why don't you fight for peace and healing because you have such a huge heart. And what it is, I bottled all this stuff. I was fighting to keep all this stuff in. I was fighting not to let go. You know what? He hurt me. They hurt me. She hurt me. They did this. They did that. They did that. Like, what? I almost fought one of my buddies over $250. You can easily make $250 in a day, make $250 in an hour. Like, what? What was I fighting for? Man, what are we fighting for? Find your why. What is it that you really need to be fighting for? Your family, your peace, your joy, your healing, love, your career. What is it that you want to fight for? Happiness, joy. Man, as I look at my children in these photos, these two precious souls right here, are you fighting to break the family curse? But Kurtis, both my parents are toxic, and that's why I'm toxic. I know how you feel. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I went through it for 25 years and watched it. So is it going to be easy for me to fight to not be toxic? No, it's not going to be easy. I'm going to mess up. I have messed up plenty. I was taught it for 25 years. I've watched it for 35 years of my life. You're not just going to be like, yeah, I don't want to be toxic no more and to be gone. Man, I've messed up. I've had the right heart. I've been down this journey, this roller coaster. And I still messed up. And that's the thing is I was so willing to fight people that messed up. How many times did I fight my wife? Because she messed up. She's human just like me. How many times in life do we fight people and they're humans just like us? They mess up. They're not perfect. Maybe Brooke watched her parents fight where they cuss each other. F you, F you, F you. Not talk through it at all. And then just the next morning wake up and be like, oh, nothing ever happened. Maybe her parents need counseling. Maybe my parents need counseling. Maybe the 6 of us, 8 of us, 10, my parents are divorced, so that's 4, her 2, 6, 10 of us. Maybe the 10 of us could go to counseling together and just grow. Man, you imagine if all 10 of us went to counseling together and had an intention of all 10 of us fighting to become the best versions of ourselves so we can change the generation. Like if all 10 of us dropped our ego and was like, let's all go to counseling. Marriage counseling together. Let's support each other. Let's have a group of 10. I remember seeing this picture of, a couple, they're divorced, and the husband and wife, they were at the kids' sporting event, and they were sitting together. And the back of their shirt said, Mom, Dad, bonus mom, bonus dad. And see, they were fighting for those children. Because, no matter what you're going through, it's like, if you want to see a change, you got to be the change. Like mothers, are you keeping the children away from the dad just because you're angry at them? That's hurting the kids. Fathers, are whenever you see your kids, are you saying bad things about the mother to the kids, knowing the kids are going to go back and say to the mother? That's just hurting the kids. That's not fighting for your kids. That's not fighting for breaking for the generational curse. That's not fighting for breaking the chains. See, whenever we was pregnant with Zion, man, look at that precious dude right there. Whenever we were pregnant with him, my wife was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant. I didn't. I appreciate her. And in the 9 months that she bared that baby in her belly, when we was having him, we were trying to figure out a name for him. And we were at church, and the pastor said something about Zion, first city of God, Just all the great, if you look up Zion in the Bible, there's so many amazing things. And my wife said, that's going to be his name, it's Zion. Because our son is going to change the world. We are speaking it into existence now. Our son is going to be way better than us. Parents, if you don't want your kids to be way better than you, and you're not doing what you can to help them become the better version, man, please get counseling. That's all I want. I want to be that change for those kids. Sorry, I saw a picture in the background. I don't know where it went. Because you know what? It's called a family curse for a reason, because the family never fought to break the chains that the devil was doing. He was there to steal, kill, and destroy, creating confusion, creating anger, creating these stories inside your head for you to fight for the wrong thing, and it's okay. I'm justified. They did me this wrong. They cut me off. My boss was a prig. What? Fight for the right things. If you know anybody who has been fighting for the wrong things in life, please send this to them in a DM, a text message, an email. You know what? Even if you don't want to go that far, because sometimes somebody might fight you, even if you're sending them a video with the best intentions, just share it on your social media. Just even if you don't want to share it, because you know what? Sometimes I know I talk about God, and sometimes people are like, oh, wait, man, that's where you went too far. I can't believe in God because I can't see it. I don't have faith. You know what? Just hit the like button because of the fighting for the right things. Love it if you love it. Comment on it if you want to help me reach the algorithm to where more people can see it and interact and help the world that we're in, because we're all fighting for the wrong things. I don't care how perfect you want to say you are. You might be fighting for money, but you're not even happy. You may be a billionaire and you're not even happy, or a millionaire. You may be fighting to wear this mask in your relationship, and you're going to places and acting like everything's okay on social media. It looks okay. But deep down, you're hurting, you're struggling. Your marriage is failing. You're not the best parent, or I don't know what it is. Maybe you're fighting not to go to counseling like I had been. And you're like, finally, you know what? I'll never stop going to counseling. Actually, by me telling my story about my friend him and his wife been going to counseling for 37 years, someone else just told me that him and his wife have been going to marriage counseling for like 32 years, almost their whole marriage. And I was like, oh man, did you guys go into it like my other buddy where you just want to have perfect marriage? He was like, no, dude, we needed it actually. They say the first years of marriage are the hardest. He said the first couple years it was so hard, and both of our parents were so toxic that we needed the healing. And we both finally just said one day, let's go to counseling. We both need it. And then they never stopped going. If you talk to anybody that made the choice themselves to get counseling, they likely never stopped going because they see the value in the growth and just becoming the best version of themselves and having a professional talk through them. Even that's why you see people that are in Addicts Anonymous classes, Narcotics Anonymous and all those. They get that healing. And then if you talk to people that's been through the 12 steps, the weight is lifted off their shoulders. And then they're helping people up. They're fighting for the right thing. They're fighting for that healing because they know. That's why I do these videos, because I know your pain. I know what you're going through. I know how hard it is to become boundless. And even though you want to, how hard it is. I love you all. I hope this video helped you. Please like, share, comment, tag somebody, send it in their DM. You know the drill. Because every single day, we're working together to get one step closer to being boundless. I love you all. Have a great day.